going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, when Marvel decided to do their chair reveal for the first round of cast announcements for Avengers Doomsday, the very first name revealed on the chair was Chris Hemsworth, putting to rest any guesswork as to whether or not he would be back to reprise his role as Thor after his last outing in the abomination that was very obviously Love and Thunder. Well, today we've got a massive set leak and update, not in the form of a photo, but an update coming from a source that says not only has Chris Hemsworth been spotted on set, but it's his costume details, which he says are insane and describe a very new version of Thor. We're breaking it all down, this latest leak, what Thor is wearing, and what version it means we might be getting. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing and helped grow the community here. We've been growing at a breakneck pace, and if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's the number one thing you can do to support us as content creators. Plus, it enters you for all our giveaways. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so I traced this update back to its source because I saw this in several places on social media. It seems to have originated from a small Twitter account by the handle of James Mac WL. This is not an industry insider we've ever covered here at the channel, so take that as you will. But remember, every time Avengers movies come out, there's always a new crop of internet Twitter scoopsters who sort of pop up, and who knows, this one might become an active account. That being said, they tweeted out this: I've been told that Chris Hemsworth has been spotted on the set of Avengers Doomsday, and he looks insane with short blonde hair, a beard, and a red hooded cape. Now, if this update is correct and the description is accurate, we know exactly which version of Thor this is. It's from the Unworthy Thor storyline from 2016 and 2017. The short beard, the short blonde hair, the red hood, it all lines up. But I found this update super curious, and for a couple of reasons. First of which, you guys may have remembered that they already drew heavily from this design with the look that we got in Thor Ragnarok. It wasn't exactly the same as the costume that we see on this cover, but he did have the short beard, the short blonde hair, the asymmetrical red cape. It sort of felt like that was the look that was inspired by the Unworthy Thor. Plus, and starting from movie 1, they examined Thor re-earning his worthiness right from the beginning of the franchise, and then even again at the end of Avengers Endgame, when he's able to go back in time, he claims Mjolnir and basically proves to himself that even though he didn't kill Thanos the way he wanted during Infinity War, that he is still worthy. So I would find it very odd for them all of a sudden, and after we saw him at the end of Love and Thunder take love under his fathership basically, that he all of a sudden would be unworthy again. I think a lot more likely the case, they are just borrowing design elements from that specific costume. That's probably what's going on here, more than it's quote-unquote the Unworthy Thor, that variant that we're going to see. Now, I used the word variant here on purpose because remember, a big part of Avengers Secret Wars is the introduction of a Thor core where we would see countless Thors from across the multiverse all coming together. Although I don't think they're going to be doing that in Avengers Doomsday. Maybe in Secret Wars we'll get that, but Avengers Doomsday is going to focus on our heroes coming together in whatever way they need to. So it's definitely going to be our Thor and from the 616, and again, with everything that's transpired and since Avengers Endgame, him being the quote-unquote unworthy Thor doesn't make sense at all. Now, one of the best versions of Thor is quite honestly Rune King Thor, and I really thought that they were going to embrace that during Ragnarok as well, because some of those story elements sort of line up. Yeah, Thor didn't hang himself from the World Tree the way he did in the comic in order to seek power, or sacrifice both of his eyes, but during Ragnarok he did lose one eye that seemingly led to him unlocking his power and realization. Rune King Thor can actually wield the full power of the Odin Force, and while we don't clearly know that Thor has gotten there in the MCU just yet, he certainly hasn't moved backwards in power and is one of the more powerful characters now, up alongside Captain Marvel, obviously Sentry, but nowhere near Loki, God of Stories. That is a whole nother level of power entirely. So there's still plenty of room for Thor to grow into this Rune King Thor character, and I think what's most likely going to happen either by the end of Avengers Secret Wars or in the upcoming Thor 5 we've been talking about so much at the channel is that he'll actually ascend to finally take Odin's place and become the Allfather in the MCU, allowing for another character to basically operate in Thor's place. That's how you can end up with Hercules on the Avengers and or Beta Ray Bill somewhere else in the MCU, Thor characters or Thor analog characters that specifically aren't Thor. Now, if you've been following some of the other rumors regarding Thor in the upcoming Avengers films, you'll know that early on it was said that Marvel was looking to give him the proper send-off, which to a lot of people meant that he might end up dying in one of these two Avengers movies. But again, you have to reconcile that with all of this talk of a Thor 5, and for all of the franchises that have been rumored for Phase 7, other than the X-Men reboot, which we know they're doing, and Shang-Chi 2, which is of course a lock, Black Panther 3, which is confirmed by Ryan Coogler, the most likely movie they're going to do is a Thor 5, and I don't think there's a single Marvel fan who doesn't want to see Thor redeemed again after Love and Thunder. So whether or not he should quote-unquote survive Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars, I don't think actually matters for whether we'll see him again, because Valhalla is simply a stop, somewhere you could actually technically come back from, and we know that Mighty Thor, Jane Foster, actually comes back as a Valkyrie after she goes to Valhalla, the way we saw at the end of Thor Love and Thunder. So it could be the case he ends up dying, going to Valhalla, becoming the Allfather, and returning at the right time. Either way, not the end of Chris Hemsworth's story. Now, as far as him being dressed as the unworthy Thor, again, I think this is clearly just an issue of the costume department using design elements from a version of Thor from the comics without exactly borrowing from the congruent storyline, again, because we seemingly passed all that for Thor's character already in the MCU. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below, especially on the look. I thought for sure they were maybe going to go with one of the more modern iterations of Thor's costume, if you know, the one that they dropped for the Fortnite skin that's got the galaxy through the cape. I actually didn't read that run of Thor. I have to make it through a ton of modern comics I haven't caught up on, but I was pretty sure they were going to be looking to introduce that version during Secret Wars. But hey, there's still plenty of time. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below, what version of Thor you want to see. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel, and we're going to do so for every Marvel drop for the rest of the year. Ironheart, Fantastic Four, Marvel Zombies, Eyes of Wakanda, all of them. If you want to be entered to win, super simple. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Every winner will always be announced at the end of videos live with my voice, and the winning comment shown on screen during this segment here at the end of the video when there is one. So please be safe and vigilant on my channel. If you should ever get a spam comment with someone claiming to be me, trying to get you to pay for shipping for a prize, remember, no content creator will ever charge you for shipping. Please try to remember that, and if you should get spam, just report it directly to YouTube, and they will delete those accounts super fast. There's a couple of places you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. Find me on all platforms with original music under the name AllFires. Thanks for checking this channel out, thanks for supporting the channel, and stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.